Equestrias Mirage by me. Chapter 6, Dream of Meanings. The train sped quickly down the tracks, rolling across the hilly roads towards the mountain city of Canterlot. Inside a private car, Trixie sat a seat away from the talking mares that had made up her team. One part of her mind was listening to the mares acquainting themselves with their latest member, Lightning Dust, while the other was on the papers before her. She looked carefully at the list of points she had managed to recruit. Then, at the list of strange visits he had received upon meeting each member of the team. Let's see if Trixie has this right. In one world, Trixie is magic, and am friends with Lyra and Carrot Top, who are loyalty and generosity. In another, Trixie is laughter, and am friends with Tavi and Blossomflurf. Lastly, I am generosity and Dust is magic. Now, the fact that Trixie is these elements makes sense as a magician. Trixie needs to be generous about her talents. Laughter comes from the stories she tells, and as for magic, well, Trixie's the most powerful unicorn in Equestria. Now that Twilight's an alicorn, but Trixie has never met these particular ponies before. So, why in Equestria did Luna? Trixie was quickly taken out of her thoughts by an explanation from Lyra. Oh my gosh! I just realized where I remember Dust from! It was so obvious! Where? Asked Dust, looking at the red green unicorn. Okay, think back. Back to when you went to Canterlot for a semester, Lyra said, taking a part of her mane and pulling it over her eye. What eye? Dust asked. Seeing the way Lyra had set her mane and face. I can't believe it! I didn't recognize you! Well, it kind of helps I didn't have my mane parted like it did those years ago. Lyra chuckled. Oh, wait. You two know each other, asked Trixie. Well, we weren't close friends, but I remember sometimes palling around with this unicorn I used to call One Eye, Dust said, smirking. Feeling the mayor's looks of confusion on her, Lyra added, I had a real bad problem with my right eye for a few weeks when I moved to Canterlot. There was a lot of surgery involved, and I had to wear something over my eye to hide the bandage. So I used my mane for the first few weeks of the semester. The look was popular with ponies, and I kept it. I met Dust, and she's been calling me One Eye since. You moved to Canterlot? Asked Octavia. Yeah, from Ponyville. Not a lot of music schools in there, so when I got my mark, I moved to Canterlot to study, Lyra said, looking down at her key mark for emphasis. Wait, I remember now, Octavia exclaimed as the memory came to her. You and Dust used to cause so much trouble back at the music school that I attended. Sitara's String Academy? Asked Blossomflurf. Oh my, I used to work there with my mother at a little flower shop across the street. You know, now that I think about it, I used to deliver carrot cakes to that shop with my father sometimes. I think I probably saw you girls there. Carrot Top eyed, memories flooding her mind. Wow, so somehow we all met before in Canterlot. Never knew it. Wow, what are the odds? Lyra chuckled, looking down at the floor. Yeah, I know Spike joked about how cheesy it is, but I can't help but think that there is something to be said about what Twilight said in that lesson. Just, who knows? Maybe when you look at a rainbow, your next closest friend or your lifelong friend could be looking at the same one. Or, who knows? Maybe the friends that you have made have a deeper bond than you realize. One that was set in stone long before you even met each other. Or, somewhere out there, your dearest friends are just waiting for you to meet them, because you all share a close bond. It's kind of comforting that way. Very high. You girls just seem to fly to me, a smirking Lightning Dust said, giving a confident shrug. All you, except for Trixie, Trixie said. Back in the old days, Trixie was far more into being glamorous and the greatest showmare and powerful unicorn in all of Equestria to make friends. So you had fans and not friends. Don't be so sure, my little pony, Lyra snarked. I seem to remember catching sight of a fellow unicorn leaving Celestia School in a huff. She looked really ticked about an unfair retest and what do they mean that Celestia student was filled, along with a few other terms. Octavia's eyes shot up. That was you. At Trixie's night, Octavia continued, I tried to talk to you about what had happened, and probably would have helped you if you stayed a little longer. Heck, I know I would have helped you out, maybe even made friends with you, Lyra said, smiling, like we are now. You would have considered Trixie a friend? Trixie asked, her face showing disbelief. Well, of course. Who wouldn't want to pal around with an awesome magician like you? Who knows the type of stories you had? Lyra shouted, throwing her hose in the air. I would have to agree, Octavia muttered. I know it would seem weird considering our professions. However, when one takes in the company I keep, she said, smiling as Sal's trial came to her mind. If I had seen you, I would have offered a sandwich or something to comfort you. Bosworth remarked sweetly. All of you. You don't mind and would have been... Trixie asked, but was interrupted by Dust. Hey, any gal that's determined as crazy as you would definitely be worth talking to and palling with, Dust said, patting Trixie on the back. The group then turned their eyes at Carrot Top, expecting an answer. The other pointed to let out a deep sigh. When you first came to Ponyville, I had you pegged for nothing more than a trickster and a liar. I was right, and I believed you to be a maniac when you attacked with the Alicorn amulet. However, I've begun to see that there's a little more to you than the world's biggest egotist. There are some layers to you, and I think I wouldn't mind getting to know more about the man under the ego. But will we have that chance? Asked Bosworth, looking at the group with a slightly worried expression. You all seem like such nice ponies. I want to know more about you all. But after we finish this mission for the princess, we won't need to see each other again. Me, Carrot, and Lyra live in Ponyville, but everyone else lives so far away. I don't really want to go through all this, become friends with you, and never see you girls again. With a short breath, Octavia looked up at the ceiling. You know, I think I could make a few shows in Ponyville once in a while. I could drop in on a few friends while there. Lyra smiled. Yeah, and me and Bonbon could have a few carrot cakes and share some tea or take in some flowers. Trixie could spend some time traveling to Ponyville more often, the Blue Unicorn said, looking at the others. They then turned to Lightning Dust, waiting for a response. What? You expecting something? Dust asked, looking at the group of mares. After a few moments of silence, he let out a grunt of frustration. Fine! I'll see if I can work something in my busy Shadowspell schedule to visit you gals and have some bonding time. There, happy? We're all one big, happy group of ragtag friends. We're all saving a princess we barely know. Satisfied? But we see how this little thing goes first. Then I'll decide if you're worth keeping around. There. We all look stupid, and we're standing. You satisfied? We're all standing. I'd like to let you know I made this line, but this was not in reference to Guardians of the Galaxy. I think we'll see if you're worth it first, Lyra snarled, giggling a little, escaping her lips. Hey, I'm worth it, yelled Dust, before chuckling a little at the reaction from Lyra. At Dust's little reaction, Trixie joined in a chuckle and joy at watching Dust get flustered. The blue Meredith scooted over to the Pegasus and placed a hoof on her shoulder. Don't worry, we'll accept you soon. Perhaps after you've been decked by one of us at least once. Okay, but only once. Then I'm fighting back, laughed Dust, causing the others to laugh in return. As they laughed, Trixie began to look over the 5 mares she had gathered, her mind thinking back to the papers she had drawn during their ride. I think I see now, Princess Luna, why you picked these mares. A smile came to her face as she continued to look, her mind replacing the girls before her with the friends of the other worlds. All laughing, all together. There was a loud hiss and a slow crawl. The train rolled to the Carolot station. As Trixie and her 5 friends walked off the private train, they found a bat-winged mare waiting for them. Miss Lumoon? Midnight Shadow, the bat pony said, saluting. Princess Luna was expecting you to arrive with your team. Is this them? Trixie nodded before looking back to the bat pony, looking into her slitted yellow eyes. Yes, these are the mares that Luna has requested for the mission. Good, Moonlight said, looking over to the 5 mares with her serving eyes. I have been given orders for Princess Luna to escort you and your team to the throne room immediately. Once there, you are to meet with the other bears, get acquainted before the mission starts. With that, the bat pony then turned and walked away, following the 6 mares in her wake. It did not take long for the group to reach the courtyard of the palace, and it did not take long for their arrival to be noticed by Luna as she watched from inside the hallways of the said palace. "So, your team has arrived at last," Celestia said, walking up behind her sister. "Yes," the blue alicorn responded with a soft sigh. "Now the missing can finally begin." Celestia noticed the tone in her voice as he walked back to the throne room. "Is something wrong, Luna?" "Huh? Oh, it's nothing," Luna said, turning her away from her older sister. "Luna?" Celestia said, her tone taking a more authoritative tone. "I thought we agreed. No more hiding our feelings from each other. Now, what is it?" Luna sighed and looked up to the taller alicorn. "It's just that I never led something like this before. I've always been the one on the front lines. The soldier, the fighter, but not this. I'm not like you. I'm not a leader. You're always the one in the back, planning strategies and ploys, making the enemy do your work for you. I don't think I could do that." "Oh, Luna," Celestia said, smiling softly as he draped a wing along Luna's back and held her close. "I'd be lying if I told you that no leader has ever felt this way. But they have. Feeling like this and worrying about it shows you know how serious this is. You know how careful you have to be when leading them, and what we all stand to lose if you fail. I know, because it's the same weight that is on my shoulders every time I make a decision for this kingdom. Every time I send Twilight out there to save every pony. I wonder if I made the right decision, or if she was ready for the large task ahead of her." "But you're so good at it!" exclaimed Luna. "Practice. It's just that I know if I fail, that we lose the Princess of Magic, and Mirage gets what she wants. Worse, if this fails, or if I chose wrong, or if I failed to Trixie, then you lose one of the most precious ponies in your life, and I—" Luna stopped herself as she looked out the window once more. "We'll lose one of my dearest friends." Celestia used her wing to drag Luna to a deeper hug, then gave her a comforting nuzzle. "You won't fail, Luna. I have the utmost faith in you. You have chosen your student well, taught her everything you could, and gave her a good team to lead. You have done everything in your power to make sure she will succeed. And it's all up to them now. I know you will lead them to greatness." Luna looked up to her sister and smiled softly. "Thank you, sister." Then she got herself out for the embrace and walked down the hall. "Now, if you excuse me, it's time to meet the troops." Meanwhile, in the throne room, the bearers of harmony milled about as they waited the arrival of the other 6. The waiting was soon rewarded as the door to the throne room opened slowly to reveal the mayors. And as soon as Pinkie got a good look at one, she let out a squeal and ran towards Octavia, the blur of pink. "Darling! Hello, Pinkie," Octavia said. A little tired, she was immediately called by the pink mare. "Pinkie, I know I am here," Octavia said, as he waited to break out of a back-breaking hug that she was in. "Oh, wait a second," demanded Applejack as the heirs walked to the throne room to join the bearers. "How do you know her?" "Oh, Tommy's my cousin," Pinkie said with a smile as he watched Octavia. "He used to come by the rock farm all the time moving your feelings and play your cello for me and the other girls. Oh, I'm so glad you're here to help us save Twilight." "It is my pleasure," smiled Octavia as Pinkie hugged her again. Applejack, turning her head away from the small family reunion for a moment, looked at Carrot Top and growled, "Carrot! Apple!" Carrot Top growled as she walked towards the orange mare and placed her forehead against the other earth pony. "I have so far made over 1,000 bits and cut sales. How about you? 990, but we'll pick up again Saturday season. You know it." Applejack smirked. We'll see. Carrot smirked before breaking into laughter and giving Applejack a hug. Did I miss something?" asked Rainbow Dash, looking at the 2 ponies with an arched eyebrow. "Oh, it's just a friendly rivalry between competitors. He hopes to get ponies more interested in our services, so they think there's a big carrot-apple war going on." Carrot giggled. Hi?" squeaked Blossom forth as she hid behind Trixie to avoid Fluttershy's sight. "Hi," Fluttershy squeaked to return. "Wow, seems like almost every pony here is getting along, huh?" Lyra asked Rarity. Rarity calmly nodded as he looked around, only to be shocked as she heard Rainbow Dash yell at Lightning Dust, "What the buck is she doing here?" I wasn't fighting, Dust says. Dust flew right to her face, nose to nose. Look, Dust, this is a very important mission to save my friend. We don't have room for a hot-headed egotist around here to mess things up, Dust said, pressing her forehead to Dust's chest. Pot and kettle, Mr. Surtur, growled Dust as she pushed back. I wasn't fighting here to save your princess and whatever is hurting her, so don't blame me for being here. Besides, at least for me, they have a chance. Unlike you, who will abandon their wingman for one little mistake. Mistake! You almost got my friends killed! Das yelled. You almost got my friends killed! You should have backed me up when I was... Oh, don't you start. I tried to get you back, but you left already! Rainbow Des shook her head and kept bowing and track. Look, my friend's life is on the line. If you think I am going to get little reckless Mary, danger us all! The only danger I see is you and I... Will you both shut up? Yelled Trixie, putting a wall of magic between the two pigs' eye. This is no time for petty squabbling. We have something far more important to do. We agree, Luna says, strolling weakly into the throne room. Princess! The mayor says, one, bowing to the Diarch. This is the time for all of us to come together and work as one to save a dear friend, not for personal struggles. We will leave all of that behind us for the time being, and all disagreements will be handled after this mission is done. Luna then walked to Trixie. Trixie, come. We have some things to discuss. The rest of you, take this moment to get acquainted with one another and work out your problems. Then, 30 minutes, you'll have to meet us in the meeting room to discuss the details of the plan. With that, Luna led Trixie out of the throne room, down the hallway. Tell me, Trixie, do you understand why I chose those 5 males for your team? Trixie thinks he understands, mistress. Trixie said, looking back to the throne room, smiling softly. It was so that if things had been different, if Trixie had done something else, or made a different choice, then, when she had lost everything, she would not have been alone. She would have had true friends who would have helped her, kept her from grabbing the amulet, and not making a mess of her life. Then you have learned a very important lesson, my student, stated Luna, a sense of pride coming to her face. It is one that Twilight Sparkle learned not too long ago. That it doesn't matter how you are born, or how different your life has been from world to world. But it is what is in here, in your soul that is most important. The bonds of camaraderie that we have formed in this world are as eternal as we are. Those bonds of friendship will always lead you back to each other in some way. No matter what world you live in, it is those bonds that will you use to fight Mirage. She has already studied 5 elements. She will not be expecting 5 more. 5 more? Trixie asked, raising an eyebrow. That was the other part of the lesson. To show you something important. That the key to being a better is more than just being a representation of your chosen fortune. But you will need the will to act upon the chance to save others. If things had been different, Luna began, but Trixie finished. Then they would have become bearers themselves, Trixie said. I'm not saying that. That's also most important to get the will to act. Yes, that rainbow sign that you might have been experiencing was your inner bonds with the other bearers shining through. The deep connections that your souls have made in other worlds is reaching out to one another, finding you once again as friends, Luna said. I trust that we'll see each other again, muttered Trixie. Nothing, mistress, Trixie said, shaking her head. A small smile came to Luna as she looked down at her student. One last question, Trixie. One I will trust you to answer truthfully, Luna said, watching Trixie nod in response. If I were to give you the same opportunity my sister had given Twilight not too long ago, would you take it? You mean... make Trixie Trixie stuttered. Yes, an alicorn. If I were to give you the chance to become one, with all the power and prestige that came with it, would you take it? Luna asked. Trixie stood there for a few moments, shocked at the offer. For a few seconds, her eyes went back and forth across the room, trying to think of a response for taking a deep breath and say, Trixie would... The royal meeting room sat a few hallways away from the throne room. It wasn't hard to find for the 11 mayors. Once there, they were in a cold white room at a wooden table they lay within. They looked at one of the only two things that were inside the otherwise plain room. A chalkboard with a drawing of a pony brain on it. The only other thing was attached to a ceiling was a small six-faceted diamond. After a few minutes of waiting, Trixie walked in with Luna close behind her. Good. Now we all here, the Luna diarch began. Trixie will fill you in on the details of your mission. Trixie smiled with confidence as Luna looked to the blue unicorn. Thank you, mistress. Now, as you may well know, the dreams come from the middle part of the brain, while ignoring the logic side of the left, and the imaginative side of the right. I know! Shut up! What Mirage is doing to Twilight is allowing her brain to feel all the trauma and euphoric high of both dreams and nightmares. She is accomplishing this by subjecting Twilight to 7 dream worlds at once. Lightning does arch an eyebrow at this. Wait, 7 dreams? Is that even possible? Mirage is a very powerful mage, with powers over illusions and dreams that rival even Princess Luna's. It would be easier to subject the princess to such a trap. Trixie says she turned for the chalkboard and fired a spell at the diamond above the heads of the other ponies. The diamond charged with magic before firing a light into the center of the table that formed a hologram in the center. So pretty! Can you make the crystalite do light shows too? Asked Pinky. Trixie shook her head. The crystal's only meant for holograms. Just Trixie, she tried. Unicorn chuckled before turning the hologram into an image of Twilight lying in bed, various dreams surrounding her. As Trixie has said, Twilight's mind is currently split into 7 parts. 6 pairs of dreams and nightmares, with a final dream left behind 6 Psylocks that prevents us from accessing it. Fluttershy wants to know as the hologram began to show a series of locks leading to Twilight in a fetal position, before changing her back into her bed. But what if we wanted to take her out of a dream? Have you ever had a dream so pleasant, so perfect, and happy that waking up from it leaves you feeling miserable the next morning? Or a dream that you never want to wake up for? That is what Twilight is experiencing in the world of dreams. And that is why we need to hurry, Trixie said, turning the hologram to 2 Twilights, one in pain and the other smiling. We are going to call the dream side Belle, and we're going to call the nightmare side Spark. Twilight's logical mind, right now, is having a hard time trying to figure out what is real and what is a dream. She is slowly losing her grip on reality, and soon, her mind will pick one of the 2 worlds as the real one. If she picks it to a dream, then she will fall into a deep coma and she will never wake up again. Loves the nightmare, Applejack gasped, fear in her eyes. Her mind will keep her in a constant state of fear and terror, pushing too much adrenaline through her body that her heart will not be able to take it for long, and she will die of a heart attack, Trixie said, showing the image of Twilight in pain and panting and soon dying. The adult mares all let out a gasp as they saw the images. Octavia turned to look at Luna and Trixie. What exactly are these dreams she is stuck in? Luna began as Trixie assisted through the use of holograms, showing Twilight in a world full of sunshine. The same ones we've all had once in our lives. We've all had dreams, my dear ponies. Sometimes they are dreams of perfection, where we achieve everything we want, even when it seems impossible. Lara looked down at her hose, holding one of her front of her face as she whispered, Bon Bon. Dreams of our childhood and happier times, the midnight blue alicorn said, like the image of a filly Twilight playing with shining armor. Oh, adorable, said Queel Pinky. Dreams of conquering our fears and achieving all our goals. Luna said, knowing Trixie smiled at the last one, as if she was anticipating it. Then we have nightmares. A nightmare of loss. The images darkened to show Twilight sitting in front of her grave. A nightmare of sacrifice. Oh my, muttered Verity. She looked at the image of Twilight walking from a fallen alicorn. Then, the nightmare of abandonment, Luna finished, An image of Twilight sitting alone in a throne room passed by. The bearers let out a gasp and looked to one another as they saw that image, quickly remembering one of Twilight's worst fears. Carrot Top was the next to speak up. You said that there were 7 dreams. What was the last one? Sadly, Trixie had to put it up before she could get a look at it. She currently has no idea until we unlock it. Now we're going to split up into teams of 2. Why 2? Wouldn't it be better for all of us to go at once? Asked Lightning Dust. Because we run the risk of spending too long on one dream this way, Tracy said. By splitting up, we can hit more dreams this way. We have to hurry, because in 12 more hours, Twilight's mind will make its decision, and we will be too late. Besides, there's another reason for us to be in teams. Why? Asked Fourth. Mirage is expecting me into Paris. She knows we're coming and has time to study us, to know how to handle us, and to hit us where we hurt. If we went in alone, Tracy said, showing the image of the bears being dragged to darkness by monstrous hands, then she would be able to destroy us and lock us into those dream worlds, much like Twilight is now. However, she doesn't know you, Tracy said, showing images of the other team members standing by the bearers. This gives us an edge. Mirage will try to attack the bears, and if that happens, the partner plane will be there to back her up, or we'll try and save her. Maybe even get Twilight themselves. So, we're using the buddy system? Piggy squealed. Yes. We'll split into teams of 2. The Trixie will insert those teams into one of the different terrains. Their task will be to convince Twilight that this is a dream, get her out of the world she's in, and grab a piece of her mind. This then will be one of the keys that will unlock the Psylocks surrounding the final dream. Then we go as a group to get her out, understand? She wants to nod. They put up an image with the ponies together. Rarity is with Carrot Top. Well, that sounds pleasant, Rarity said, smiling. I don't mind, Carrot Top said. Trixie did smirk as she went to the next team. Applejack is with Octavia. Well, alright, Applejack said, smiling to Octavia. I always wanted to make Phyllis his best pen pal. Well, Phyllis did say you're interesting, Octavia said. Pinky is with Blossomflurf. Can't wait to show you what I can do in a dream world, Pinky exclaimed. Why Pegasus gulped. Maybe I should go with Flutter. Tracy interrupted, not hearing the Pegasus's plea. Lyra, we'll go with Fluttershy. Sweet! Lyra said, raising her hope to Fluttershy in support. Finally, Rainbow Dash will go with Lightning Dust. She then turned to look at the 2 Pegasi, who were about to complain. No arguments! Yes, but then that means you will, Blossomflurf began. Yes, Trixie will be heading into the dream of completion. It is all right. That was the terrain Trixie went to when she first went into Twilight's mind. It was opening, welcoming, like Mirage was expecting me, Trixie said, turning off the hologram. All the more reason not to go alone! Then she's in trouble. Trixie will have to deter us. The 11 brave mares will come to our rescue, Trixie said before walking in front of them. Old friends. New friends. Trixie knows that each of us is different. That each one of us are as unique as we can be. And by all rights, don't have anything to do with one another. But let us not forget that 3 years ago, 6 mares, as different as can be, banded together to save all of Equestria by trusting in friendship in their bonds. Today, Trixie has brought together 5 more to do a task far more important, and save a dear friend of hers. Now, Trixie asks all of us to put aside our differences, to show the bits the power of Luna's Dream Warriors! Title drop. Who's with me? The cheer from the graph of the ponies was almost as good as any applause. Trixie? Y'all sure you got enough mana to get us all to the Dream World? Asked Applejack. Looking over as the mares walked to the room with Twilight in it. You'll find that since training with Luna, Trixie's mana reserves have now increased tenfold! Trixie smiled as she lowered her head. Now, each of you stand with your partner and stand behind Trixie. As they did so, her horn began to flare up as an azure glow. Then she lowered her forehead to test her horn to Twilight's.